minutes, actually. Very good. Then we are very happy to have Christian Heyerdahl, CEO, Future Trend Playing Environments for the 21st Century. We look forward to hear it.
So, hi and welcome to this brief talk about play environments in the 21st century. My name is Christian Heyerdahl and I'm the CEO at Clausen Heyerdahl, where we are creating and transforming play environments. So, when designing a playground, you should always include these play values. For this lecture, I will focus mainly on social skills and the physical aspects. But in general, you can say the more play values you include in the playground, the better it will be. So, play is important. I'm biased, because I do this all day long. But at the same time, Diane Ackerman, a philosophist, has said play is our brain's favorite way of learning. Strong point for play. We also have a health focus these days, where governments have plans to fight obesity as well. And research has shown that regular physical activity during the early years provides immediate and long-term benefits for physical and psychological well-being. And that is not only the effects during play activities, but it seems to be they develop a habit that they take into their adult life as well. Important. And daily physical activity can improve both mental well-being and cognitive development. Strong arguments for play. So, children develop at different rates. They do it at their own pace. And these photos are for 1 to 3 age. What I'm wondering is there anything trending that we have to consider when designing playgrounds in the development phase? And I would say no. Because children are basically the same, they play the same way, but their surrounding has changed. So there are trends like urbanization. We heard about compact building and compact living yesterday. Definitely a trend there. And we have more organized upbringing as well. The children are a full day in the kindergarten and then a full day at school, so more organized. And also has been a technological major part of new improvements for technologically. More screens, less time for free play, and creative and imaginative play. And creativity is intelligence, having fun, important as well. So we at Clausen Heyerdahl has done now over 50 schoolyards in Oslo over the last decade. And this is from Marienlyst-skole, where we have a multifunctional active play installation with a variety of activities. We have designed this one with around 30 activities, but we also know that the children find more. They have a more wider imagination than us. And we do implement challenges across age groups and different levels of motoric skills. Also, it's important to include some single functional equipment as well, such as roundabouts and swings. Here we have an inclusive one. And we also do different sports activities, football, land hockey, basketball, because boys and girls tend to do different sports, so we have to have several sports activities to make a good play area. So, when designing schoolyards, what are the key elements here? We believe in playgrounds who are activity-driven and exciting over time. And to do that, you have to do play environments with large diversity in width and depth. Width here is the different kinds of activities, such as climbing, balancing, sliding. And depth is you have more than one activity in each. So we have 3 or 4 climbing activities. Also, we have to make sure activities are suitable for a variety of ages and development stages. And you have to have activities for all, both genders and also those with physical and mental impairments. We also know that these playgrounds have better social relations and less harassing, positive effects also on health and learning. After all, they go to school to learn, but they do have to play as well. With the urbanization trend, there are less space, so when you design a schoolyard, I would urge you to make sure it also serves as a neighborhood activity space after closing time and in the weekends. And I'll also promote you consider scaling. There are more people in the same schools these days, so make sure you scale the activities up as well. So I came across this plan 2 weeks ago, and at first sight, I loved it. I loved the shaping, the concept, and totality, and I can for sure say we wouldn't have thought of this at all. But at the second glance, there are some lacking activities, and some of the placements next to each other is not optimal. There's going to be conflicts here. I'm not criticizing this plan in itself. The plan is here to have discussion about form versus function. We as playground specialists tend to focus too much on functionality and then let form follow function, while landscape architects have a tendency to promote form and shapes and then let function follow the form. So how can we do it better? Leading question. Yes, but we have to do a combined effort on it. Do cooperation. Join forces. Then we can get the best from each side. We get the totality aspect and the concept. We can get both form and function. And we can get more value for money. Some of the school projects we have done, we have had to do makeovers after 3 years of installation. And that is a waste of money. If we do cooperation, we can spend it wisely. So trends in materials. You have different materials. We have wooden elements, steel, HPL, rotomolded plastics, and many more. There are 2 trends at the moment, and there are 2 opposing trends with going back to nature, logs and wooden elements, and the other one is low maintenance, steel and composite materials. I think those 2 will still drag each other in different ways. What I would say is keep with diversity and variety also when it comes to materials. It has to do with different textures and the sensory play value as well. So another trend that's been in the 21st century is net play, and I think that's going to continue to be a trend for the next few years as well. But you'll also see a larger trend between post and platform system and deckless systems, and the deckless system is going to increase. And also the post and platform systems will probably be less platform and more activity-based. At the same time, it's not wrong to have a platform, just make sure it has a purpose. Everything has to have a purpose. So thank you for listening and taking an active role in designing exciting play environments.
8:03 minutes, Christian Heyerdahl. Thank you very much. The third in line is Linda Whiteman. She's from Hunter Industries, and she's an industry relation manager. Please welcome Linda.
Good afternoon, everybody. Are you having a good time? Yeah? Very important. Ooh, I have to talk quick now. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for the nice introduction, and great job, you guys. Tough act to follow. Hunter Industries is an irrigation equipment manufacturer and a landscape lighting manufacturer. And what I wanted to talk today a little bit about are trends that we're seeing in water conservation and energy conservation, and how we're trying to address those to help you as landscape architects design your projects. So I guess, why is it important to even consider and understand water and energy conservation in landscapes? Every single session here today is talking about something that's towards being sustainable in what you're designing. And water conservation and energy conservation play a great part in that. And it's interesting for myself and for Santiago, my coworker, who talked to some of you at our table, and very few people even understand what an irrigation system is. So I would say with that, as we talk about the new trends in water and energy conservation, is starting first with water conservation, and then I'll go into energy, is pressure. When you turn on your faucet in the morning and your water comes out and you brush your teeth, it's under pressure. Same thing with the sprinkler system, it's under pressure. So pressure is the #1 most important thing about irrigation systems. So we have to talk about what trends are helping to stabilize that pressure. And then also cloud-based controllers. Everything is a cloud these days, right? Whether we want it to be or not. But now with sprinkler and irrigation systems, they're also talking through the cloud. So I'm going to touch on that. It's a new trend. And then applying water uniformly on your landscape and the plant material that you've designed and it's been installed. The bottom line, we want to have healthy plants. So why pressure regulation to begin with? Well, real quickly, as you increase pressure, you increase flow. Your plant might not need the amount of water that you're giving it, and as you increase the pressure, you increase more water that you're giving to the plant. So it's very important to stabilize that pressure. It affects the coverage, the application rate, how much water is going out over the plant material, the uniformity, how even the water is being put across all the landscapes and the turf grass, and ultimately more water use, misuse, and not conservation. So when we talk about water pressure, this is what it looks like. So when you turn on your systems at home or on a job site, and you see small droplets like this, that's very high pressure. How sustainable are we being with that? Where's the water going? Everywhere except it's supposed to be going. It's going in the air, on the cars, it's not going on the landscapes. Same thing here, high pressures versus stabilized pressure. So we have larger droplet sizes, to the point that low pressure, if you see a stream of water like this, and it has very large droplets coming out of it, that tells you it has very low pressure. And that also causes problems. So pressure is very important to understand in irrigation systems. Where we see pressure regulation, whether you do irrigation design or you work with a designer, we see them at the point of connection in this type of a preset pressure regulation. We also see them at the automatic control valve. So at the valve, you can regulate the downstream pressure right there at the valve. But it's also inside the sprinkler units themselves. They control the pressure. So pressure regulation is obviously very important. Then we get into the cloud. And now, as we have total home control, we can tell people when, or tell your phone when to turn on the alarm and to answer and doorbells and all that kind of stuff. Well, now we're doing that with the control system. So in an irrigation system, the controller is the brain. It tells the irrigation sprinklers when to pop up. So now we have the capabilities of talking to the controller. I talk to my controller, and I live in Missoula, Montana. This morning, I told it not to water as much because I knew it was going to rain. So I talked to it through the cloud. So from a management perspective, it's very, very helpful. This is a new trend that you're going to see expand exponentially into a lot of other areas. So what are Wi-Fi cloud-based controllers? Well, they provide monitoring. And typically, they're hooked up to a weather station. So the weather station will tell your controller that it's going to rain tomorrow, so don't come on and don't waste the water. It tells you alerts and notifications. So if you go over the water expectations, it'll tell you you've gone over water. It is a remote access through any kind of a device, a computer, smartphone, whatever. So it's great for designers. If you're designing a program or a project and you want to be able to check up on it, you can. Obviously, for the contractors and the installers, they have automatic access to it through the cloud, and for the homeowners. But the bottom line, it saves water and money, and you feel connected. So really, you access it anywhere, and the cloud backs it up. Think of this, if you have to adjust your thermostat, you should be changing the runtime on your sprinklers in your gardens. Right? It makes sense. The weather is changing. You don't put out the same amount of water throughout the season. So there's a software program that tells it, like I said, from a weather station, when it's going to rain, when it's going to be extra hot, and it automatically adjusts the runtime to save water. Another third for the water-saving device is with a very even application of water over your plants. Right now, we overwater our plants, especially with the sprinkler system and irrigation system. So with the MP rotator, it is a rotating sprinkler that has little streams. You can see the picture in the bottom, but it's a very uniform application of water. It's very easy to design with. For those of you, I'm not going to go into great details, but you can save 30% more water than your typical pop-up spray heads that put out a lot of water. 30% is a lot of water to be saved when you're irrigating your landscapes. Has beautiful patterns, so your customers love the fact that you're using these sprinklers. Uniformity of water application, real quickly, I wanted to touch on this. You need to know what the soil is and what the plant needs are for water. That's so important. Like I said, we overwater our plants. And I talked to a lot of people and they said, oh yeah, we get a lot of rainfall. I'll guarantee you every year you don't get a lot of rainfall. So you need to look at automatic sprinkler systems. You need to understand the various microclimates. In this particular picture, I would not irrigate the plant material with the same sprinklers that I'm irrigating the lawn. They don't run at the same time. Different plants have different needs of water. So you have to consider that when you're putting in your sprinklers. And you need to realize the importance of, like I said, seasons. So during the different seasons, you're going to irrigate differently. And you want to have that uniform coverage. So we don't want to have this, which is that's an unsafe, not healthy, unsustainable surface. We want to have something like this. So we want to be able to use the correct equipment for the correct application. In talking about trends with energy, we are a low voltage landscape lighting manufacturer. And we have come to realize that by enhancing your landscapes that you guys are designing with different shades and different colors, with landscape lighting is phenomenal. So with it, we use LED lights. I know in Europe they've used LEDs for a long, long time, but we also have control systems with up to 33,000 different color combinations that you can show onto your different plant materials. It's pretty amazing. And you can tie it into that total house control. 1 minute, I know. So, benefits of LED is that it's a heat reduction, energy reduction. Obviously with the old energy guzzling lamps that we use, LED requires 80% less. LED are not as hot as traditional. It's a consistent light output, so each lamp gets the same amount of energy. LEDs can last up to 50,000 hours longer than traditional. And from a professional perspective, in designing lighting, it's the same thing as designing a landscape plan. These are different fixtures that are available. You can see in here a beautiful house with landscape lighting on the pathway coming up. So the movement is away from the guzzling regular lamps to the LED technology. Some of the new challenges we see are being able to highlight the different functions of the item that you're putting the light on. At Hunter Industries, wrapping up, thank you for giving me the extra minute, is that we have an excellent website for training and teaching you how to design irrigation and how to design lighting. And we also have another website with fantastic resources. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Lindia. The next in line is Christian Vestre. You